Welcome, everyone. This is episode 25, and I've titled this episode Easy to Dream Big, but Difficult to Live Big. Well, I'm Sherry Harmel, business and life coach, as well as creator of Be the Real You magazine that we're launching on April 1st. Woohoo! I also have created courses and really several different helps and tips and all of that related to being the authentic and real you. But today we're going to talk about dreaming and living big and why it's so easy to dream big, but so very difficult to live big. The digital magazine that I'm launching on April 1st is called Be the Real You. And truly, it is a perfect example of me and my big dream. But more on that later. For now, let's enter dreamland. It's a lovely place, isn't it? I think we all become completely jazzed seeing ourselves inside our dreams 1 year, 5 years, even 10 years from now. I love it in that place because, frankly, I'm an idea generating nut. I use StrengthsFinder with all of my one-to-one clients, and honestly, it's amazing. Well, three of my top five strengths are futuristic, strategic, and ideation. Now you know where those ideas come from. I really should start a company and call it maybe something like the Dream Creation Lab. I can see it now. I'd have dreams just popping out for people as they line up at the door to share their strengths, their passions, their ideas, and what they'd get in return are some dream ideas. I imagine it's something like the movie Inside Out. All those customers would leave my lab with a dream created just for them and walk out feeling absolutely fabulous, if that's a word. Well, that feeling would last for a while, but then, like it always does, reality sets in. Back home or back at the office, these women will look around their lives and realize that the dream idea I gave them is so very wonderful, but they have no idea how to make it happen or actually believe that it could happen. Does this sound like you? Can you relate to absolutely loving, imagining all about your dreams for the future coming true, and yet wonder how to make it all happen? Like I said in the opening, dreaming big is most often pretty easy. It's the living big that is hard. Living big requires that today you ask yourself, what am I doing? It requires you to prioritize your goals each and every day because time is a limited commodity. Living big requires you to constantly be self aware enough to ask yourself whether you're making choices that each day bring you a little closer to your big dreams, and if not, make the needed adjustments. Well, in my course, Recapture Your Joie de Vie, which just recently ended, there was one week that we dove into a discussion on time. We talked about how it's so interesting that we look at time in the future as though we have unlimited moments, months, even years. Yet each day, we pride ourselves on being overscheduled and honestly, even overscheduling our children. It's like a badge of honor. But when I asked the course participants, are you consumed with busyness or are you actually accomplishing something? Well, something shifted. Our culture has changed so much that regardless of whether we are 30 or 50, we look at our futures as some sort of abstract place where we have all the time in the world to get there. So, what happens is that you'll notice you're not working towards your dreams, but somehow you convince yourself that you'll get to it someday, just not today. Now, logically, we all know this isn't true. There are no guarantees of any future moments beyond the breath that you've just taken. But why do we choose to dream big and live small? Is it fear? Is it self-sabotage? Is it resignation? Well, each of you might have a different answer. But I'm here to talk about how you can get yourself moving towards that dream today. So, if you have a dream, I'm going to assume that you know what you want. And if you don't, go back to brainstorming. Really explore what you love to do, which are your passions. Explore what you're naturally good at, which are your strengths and your talents, and see what ideas come up. Now, don't let your logical mind judge them. Let the ideas be there, even if they're a little out there. But once you have your ideas of what you want, I want you to find other people who are doing it and doing it well. Whether you want to start a business, create a work of art, or even a social program, find and connect with people who have successfully launched similar projects, similar businesses, sold their art, women who are basically doing something on your list of possibilities. I promise that you will learn more about talking with people than you do by doing a stagnant Google search. Now, for example, I interviewed Lonnie Brown. She's the founder of Entirely Eco, and she's in the first issue of my magazine. And some specific things that Lonnie shared resonated with me. But you might get a completely different takeaway from Lonnie's conversation, given your life situation and issues. And that's why talking to people is invaluable. So reach out to people you find and see if you can arrange a conversation. Honestly, you can't talk to too many people. You'll get loads of valuable information. Check out if there are any Facebook groups, that are in the spaces that you're considering, and join them. Find people on LinkedIn. Use Google, but then set up times to talk. Basically, you're mining for information as well as making connections that might be helpful as you build your dream. Just by taking action to connect with people, you're creating energy around your dream. And to make things happen, you need energy. Now, the easiest way for me to really think about this, or think about that concept of energy, is using this comparison of maybe a slow cooker versus a chef's kitchen. Now, the slow cooker just sits on your kitchen counter, right? You don't need to check on it. You don't even need to be home while it's slowly cooking your food. And frankly, nothing amazing comes out of a slow cooker. A chef's kitchen, in contrast, is filled with action, and that is where life-changing meals are created. Now, I'm totally into Discovery Plus, I have to admit this. And last weekend, I watched Erin French, the chef and owner of the Lost Kitchen in Maine. Incredible. She's amazing, as are all the women on her team. And yes, it is a kitchen filled with women. Erin not only created a restaurant concept that was aligned with who she is and what she loves, but when preparing for an evening of guests, there's a hub of activity. That energy is what makes beautiful things happen. Well, I'm sending in my postcard to try to snag a reservation for 2021 because I want to be a part of that energy. What brings me to the conclusion of the ingredients needed to live big, I want you to think about surrounding yourself with people who are choosing to do the same thing. People who have dreams and are creating the energy to make those dreams come alive. Truly, energy is catchy. And I want to surround myself with like-minded women who aren't going to settle, who aren't going to imagine someday dreams. I want to be around women who step into their real selves and create a life so they too can be the real you. And I want you to join me. Well, as I said in the very beginning, I have news that I want to share with you. So on April 1st, my new digital magazine, Be the Real You, is going live. This magazine is for women who are ready to step into their big dreams. And to do that, you have to be real, you have to be authentic. That's the only way you can have that big life that you deserve. Now, the articles in the magazine are going to range from interviews with successful women business owners, mindset tips. We might have conversations on topics such as honoring and valuing your time, ways maybe to override any self confidence and self esteem issues that often get in our way, especially as women, as well as fun ways that we as women really embrace joy so that we truly can be the star in our own life. Well, this has been in the works for a while, and so I'm incredibly excited to share it with you. I'm really calling this the Women's Authenticity Movement because it is really about you being who you truly are, deciding what it is that you really want in this lifetime, and then doing it. Now, someone asked me if it's just for business women, and I want to share not at all. Though creating and running your own business is a focal point, but the magazine is really for all women who are ready to be and live as their real and authentic selves. So go to sherryharmel.com, I hit the subscribe button, and let's make the women's authenticity movement huge. Thank you for joining me today. And if you liked this podcast, as always, please leave a review. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, and we will see you soon. Thank you.